Says I'm live, so I would like to pay my respects to the spirits of the land here where it is freezing and overcast and wet, but not quite raining right this minute. So that's nice. I'll be able to get out and go for a walk this morning. I went to go for one yesterday and it's just started chucking it down. So yeah, I don't know how much we had yesterday, but we did have some good rain yesterday, so that was nice. All right, welcome to Wednesday the 25th of June. We have the new moon in Cancer today, so that's really lovely. We do, however, have more of a two-part day today. All right, so we've got the moon still in Gemini right now, and the moon moves into Cancer at 1:44 p.m. or quarter to two. So first part of the day, we're looking to Mercury for its influence on the moon. And then after that, we have the moon ruling the moon. And it's going to be a beautiful new moon because we're going to have the moon firstly going into Cancer, then straight into the conjunction to Jupiter. So that's nice. And then straight away after that, we've got the new moon at 8:30 p.m. So now, yesterday we actually had that Jupiter Cazimi, or was that this morning? No, that was 1 a.m. this morning. All right, so just like we have the Mercury Cazimi, anytime a planet is exactly conjunct the sun in that middle bit, it's a planetary Cazimi. So this morning we had the Jupiter Cazimi, and let's just hope that, the wisdom of ages comes through. We've got a very ancestral type of, it's an ancestral new moon. It's, in Cancer. So we are concerned with family, home, family of origin, ancestry, food, warmth, nurturing, all those beautiful things. Good morning, Louise. Good morning, Deb. Hello, Emma. How are you? Good morning, Dommy. Nice to see you. All right, so let's look at the first part because, we got to go to work. All right, so first of all, we've got the moon coming up to in conjunct Lilith at 11 a.m. And this is for my spicy girls that like to say it as it is. Uh, Lilith is back in Scorpio. All right, so she's got a little bit of a tail sting happening. So if you feel like you've had to shush and mush a little bit, or you've held back, or you're looking at people, she was in Sag for a couple of days, so she might have been like philosophizing, or like having conversations around how your beliefs and my beliefs don't necessarily need to match. There is no only one belief. Oh, that's just what I'm sort of feeling right now. Whereas now she's in Scorpio, there's a few more home truths maybe that are going to come up a little bit more. There's that depth. Just she's just going to be a little bit more savage. I think she rules. I think Lilith rules Scorpio. She fits so well there. Maybe Pluto's escort. Who knows? I don't make the rules. All right, so first of all, we've got that moon in Gemini in conjunct Lilith. That's why I was like, just watch for those truthful conversations that you can maybe tame a little bit if you want to around 11. All right, and then from that point, that's pretty much the only one that Mercury is going to be concerned with. All right, because from quarter two, the moon then moves into Cancer, calms down. Man, that is so much like, I don't want to leave the house. We want to love our children. We want to, cuddles on the lounge with a warm blankie. And obviously that's just because I'm freezing and in Tasmania and it's wet. And, the solstice, we're still only 4 days past the solstice. So those days haven't started getting longer yet. So we're still in this deep winter, even though it's going to get colder. Well, you know what I mean? We're at that bottom point. All right, so waffling. All right, after 3, the moon is going to start in conjunct Pluto. Here's a little bit more clarity coming up, truth of the matter. It's an in conjunct, all right? So Pluto's there potentially talking about how can we transform this situation for the good of all. The other day I was talking about Spock when he did that, the good of the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. And I don't know whether this moon in Cancer in conjunct Pluto in Aquarius, like the moon is like, yes, I only want what's good for my people, but somehow the moon and Pluto aren't quite seeing eye to eye when really they're saying the same thing. Pluto's like, shit needs to change so the next generation can have all of the positive potential of this Aquarian innovation and, things being, the power back to the people a little bit, where that moon is like, well, I am concerned for the people. On the world stage, it might just look like them saying, but my people, not your people, sort of potentially. All right. So, because at the same time, when that moon becomes in conjunct Pluto, it also sextiles Mars. All right. So the big points between that are going to be between 8 and 9 p.m. Now, the moon conjuncts Jupiter at 7:30 p.m. So let's hope that, that Jupiter in Cancer awareness and, the knowing of past history, especially when it comes to those homelands or home spaces, or, any of those early sort of belief systems. That's at 7:30. And then that in conjunct between 8 and 9, the new moon is at 8:30. So in between that maybe harsh talks, we've got that new moon in Cancer, where, there is no light. We know what we're concerned with, we know what we want to nurture and protect, but there's just a little bit of um, incongruency. Just doesn't, like, it's, the words are making no sense right now, or they're not making the impact that they could be. All right. Again, for us, it's late. I just keep looking at this going, there's just so much like, ugh, because, sorry, I've missed the 4:30 moon in Cancer square Saturn Neptune at 4:30. All right. So that's another one where, you know, we have the desire to do the good thing, but it might just feel too hard. Or again, with the, Saturn's been pretty good with making people feel like they are worthy and that they can do it. Like everybody here, I was talking about it like a week or two ago, everyone's making the effort to become better versions of themselves. But the Saturn aspect there is, again, with the I am going to fight for my beliefs. So we've got two sides. We've got everybody wanting to care for their people, but they're not looking at the fact that it's affecting or afflicting like many people. Oh my God, fucking words. The collective is getting destroyed when everybody's just sort of holding on to their own teddy bear, saying, "No, it's mine. I only care about my thing." So, there's that. All right, I'll stop waffling again. I'm not waffling, I'm just blah, blah, blah. All right, let's see who else is here. Good morning, Amy. Hello, Susan. How are you? Hello, Alicia, Sean, Heather. So nice to see you. All right, I'll quickly read the words because, like I said, it is a two-part day. So the morning brings insights and opens doors for meaningful conversations. Try to plan, mediate, hypothesize, do whatever it takes to start shaping an ideal situation. Once that moon moves into Cancer, the tone will shift and things will start to feel heavier because, Cancer's got those crabs, man. Don't piss off a Cancer that's trying to look after their people, because, they will pinch you. But a nourishing meal and thoughts of the future generations could be exactly what is needed to make, this whole thing unfold better than it is. All right, so let's draw a card. Let's draw a card while I will still continue to talk. So yeah, I mean, what are your new moon intentions going to look like this day? So, you can do them definitely. I mean, you can do them before, so from about lunchtime onwards, or you can do them up until like tomorrow morning. But, if you're still awake, I would do them as like a journal, a nighttime journal, where you can, if you're going through your mind, maybe you can pen down those things that, you know, what does the optimal situation look like in your home, you know, how can you create a legacy for the generations to come, you know, like you can, this doesn't have to be, you know, about you specifically, you know, you can, you know, like I want to create a legacy for the generations to come that, you know, they will always remember my name because I've given them such a good head start. I like that. That's my one right there. You know what I mean? So yeah, let's just draw this card. I've gone with the Dreamweavers today. Looks like this one. Oh, it's the honey one. We had this, I think this was the last one that we got. All right. If the taste is sweet and good, oh, it's such a foodie. You know, the Cancer new moon is so foodie. Oh, I love it. I gave my mum my slow cooker. I definitely think it's a day for a slow cooker today. Oh, they're in my head. All right, so when things are as good as they seem, the blessings of life and being thankful for success and grace. Oh, such a Cancer moon thing. There are times in life whether you wonder if it's too good to be true, if the beauty you see is real, if the love you feel and the forgiveness you offer is as life-changing as it seems. Now is the time to release all your doubts and revel in the bountiful blessings bestowed upon you. Do not allow any thoughts of unworthiness to taint this moment or allow any indulgence in the rash act to keep moving forward to distract you from receiving and taking this all in. And how much is that related to that 3 o'clock mark where we've got that in conjunct Pluto, sextile Mars? So don't let rash acts propel you in a direction that might not be as helpful as it could be. Slow down and savor the moment. It will not last, nor should it, but it does invite your full and absolute attention. Who are you to deny gifts? There are moments in life when the harmony of the universe sings through our bones in such a way that life and your part in it just seems to make sense. So let it. Today, if the taste is sweet and good, just trust in that experience and allow it. Without trying to capture it or force it to stay, this is a beautiful moment to remember, and that is a beautiful thing. So I just think that is just lovely. You know, we don't necessarily need to look too far out of our own boundaries to, good morning, Sally, to you know, make a difference on this day. Like I said, up until when the moon moves at 1:45, you know, we're still in that dark, quiet, thought-provoking place where you can just mull things over. You know, like I said, if you are in conversations with people, you can hypothesize. You can, you know, focus on what's good for the many rather than the few. You know, let's make this a new moon that, you know, it's positive influences, the moon's in its own home sign, lasts a long time for future generations. Again, I just keep going to the longevity of this potential. So again, you know, like the antenna guys, you know, like what are you putting out there as far as, you know, your home environment? Um, you know, maybe I know I said this yesterday. Do you love going home, or do you have some sort of when you're like, oh, I've got to go home because, you know, like all the things, the kids, the partners, the blah blah blah. You know, maybe you can start to rewrite or reword or refocus that. You know, like what is it that you're actually putting out around that home environment? You know, or ancestry, or you know, any of those Cancerian things. And I'm including food for those people that struggle to eat enough for your age and stage. All right, so maybe we can do, you know, maybe you can just investigate further. Why am I resistant to eat, or why do I comfort eat? You know, there's a lot of those emotional food connection type of energies happening today as well. So I hope that this new moon is good for you. Don't forget to write your intentions. Like I said, even if you just do it as journal prompts, or you know, something that just, yeah, that gives you nurturing and just, yeah, rewords your ideas when it comes to where you feel nurtured. So that's me, guys. I've got a meeting at 9 with a few of my lovely friends. So I will let you go, and I hope you have a fabulous day, and I will see you tomorrow for Thursday. Mwah.